Oh my gosh, Instagram, Instagram. All right. It is so weird going on Instagram Live and not knowing whether or not things are coming. And my camera's foggy, so I'm going to clear this off. Lila, I just.
Hi. I'm trying to like make it so that not, I don't. I'm good. How are you?
Good, 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 good. So, okay, so
There we go.
everybody who's on Instagram.
Sure. Thank you. So my name is Lila Glasoe. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yes. How's it going? Okay, good. So we're good. You can hear me. Everything is good. Um, how's the sound? Is the sound better when I do that?
I can hear you. I don't know if there might be a delay on it though. Instagram is so weird.
Okay. Well, so about 5 years ago, I uh, was with my sister and she was acting really weird and I didn't know what was going on. And so I wanted her to go to the doctor because she started not being able to spell words. She was only voice texting. She was acting really weird. Long story short, she ended up having a form of brain cancer called glioblastoma brain cancer. And the scary thing about glioblastoma brain cancer is it's a terminal illness. So if you get glioblastoma brain cancer, you can extend your life, but you know, as of now with science, no one has really recovered from it. We're hoping that that happens soon, but it hasn't happened, and it definitely was further away from where it is now 5 years ago. So I started writing a journal, and I know we had talked earlier, Candace, about I don't know what kind of book I'm writing, or maybe the book you wrote is different than the one that came out. I didn't think I'd ever write a book. I was writing a journal. So I started writing a journal to go through it because I had little kids and I was taking care of her son too. She moved in with me because she was redoing her house. Miraculously, 2 weeks before diagnosis, she moved in. So I was sort of journaling to not vent out loud. And my journal then, long story short, became a book when one of my best friends read it and said, oh my gosh, this is such an amazing capture of this story. You should put chapters of your life with your sister for 45 years or 46 years in between each chapter, like stories just about sisterhood. So my book flashes back between 14 years of diagnosis and diagnosis to death, and no shocker ending there. And then with stories about sisterhood. And the great thing about it, I think, is that yes, you will cry, but you will laugh really hard too. And you will feel that relationship that you have with you, that special person in your life, whether it be a sibling or a best friend or your mom or your dad. So it's really a book about 46 years of deep relationship.
I love that. And one of the things I think in 2020 that especially we're all craving right now is that connection and that relationship with people. And so to have that captured and like you have that immortalized in the pages of this book forever for your whole family, that's a really beautiful gift. Um, and so is it a good holiday gift? Is this something that people should be picking up at right now? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it is. It's because we all want like a good like chick read, like we want a chick flick, I think. And that's kind of what I call it. And that's why I'm saying, send it to your best friend with a bottle of wine, or we have a great promotion going with castlebaths.com right now that you can get bath salts and have a book and a soak, right? And relax reading a book. So the book looks like this. And you can get it on Bookshop, Amazon, Barnes and Noble. You can also just go to our website, thesituationbook.com. It's, I sent it last week for the holiday already to 2 girlfriends in Michigan and just said, hey, I wanted to share this with you and let me know what you think. And, I love you. I'm thinking about you. So I think in that way, it's a great book.
Oh, I love that. One of the things that you mentioned when we were talking before was that because this is about brain cancer, there's an opportunity to potentially, it can really be a resource for brain cancer patients as well. And this is, I actually know 2 people in my network who are touched by brain cancer. And so tell us a little bit about how it might serve as a resource for people also.
Well, that was one of the goals of the book is when my sister got diagnosed, I furiously, like we all do, went to Google, right? And I was like, how do I find out about this disease? How do I find out about people's personal stories? All I could find was articles. And all I could find or like blog posts, and they were like a page. So when I was talking to Carrie, our publisher, our mutual publisher, I said, I really want this to get into the hands of families who are going through this and other sisters who are going through this journey or friends. And so we have really made a valiant effort to get into medical libraries and terrifically have done so, and it's gotten into really good hands. I actually talked with a woman last week who called me whose husband's been diagnosed with glioblastoma brain cancer in Boston. And she was like, thank you so much for sharing your journey, because they're asking us if we want all these things. Do we want this treatment? Do we want this? Do we want to wait? Do we want to hold off? And she said, I at least knew what the journey was going to be like from reading yours. And that was so much of the goal. So yes, it's a story about sisters and deep relationship. That also can be a valuable resource, I think, for anyone going through cancer. What are you at the beginning of diagnosis, and what are you at the end?
I think that's critically important, because I know when I was writing my book, one of the main things that I was talking about and writing about is when we share our stories, we start to find ourselves and we find this connection to others as well. And in my book, I call it like the red ribbons that bind us all together throughout the course of life. And if we don't talk about it, we don't share it, we don't write it, we don't know. And there's so much power, I think, in sharing, and it's some vulnerability in sharing too.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. And then anything else that you would just like to share with people about your book, or about if they have questions? Do you like for people to get a hold of you to talk about things, or if they want to interview you?
I love it. Like, contact me at thesituationbook.com or follow The Situation Book on Instagram. If you go to buy the book, you have to look up the full title, The Situation, A Radical Journey Through Sisterhood, because there's a bunch of books called The Situation. But, I love my favorite thing in the world that I didn't even think I would love as much. And I'm sure you're going through this because you have a new book release. My book got released for Brain Cancer Month in May. And the best thing has been the interaction of people with me. Like, I got a note from a woman through the website that just said, I want you to know that I read your book and I'm older than you are, but my mother died when I was 8 next to me in bed. She was taken away. I was sent to a relative, and I was never really allowed or asked to talk about that experience or cancer or how I felt. And she said, I sort of felt healed reading your book, because I got to go through the emotions with you, which helped heal mine. And that's also something that I realized, wow, that wasn't a goal of the book, but I hear that all the time. I had another woman tell me her sister died of cancer and had chosen not to tell the family because they lived far away till the day before she passed. And so she said, I never understood what her journey might have been like. So again, to go back to your point, life is great when we share stories. And I think this year more than anything, Candace, when we're like, when we're talking about differences in politics, differences in religion, differences, you know, women's rights and men's rights, and we're doing all of these things, the one commonality we all have in life, regardless of all of that, is that we learn from sharing our stories, and we all have a story to share, and sometimes multiple powerful stories to share.
Yes, amen. And I had goosebumps when you were telling me about that woman sharing with you, because as a matter of fact, I had an early reader reach out to me and send me a message and said, I just feel compelled to share some information with you about something that I've experienced, because I feel like it's a safe place to share this. And I
Wow.
actually, she left me her phone number, and I reached back out, and I was like, oh, like, I'm so thankful for your courage and your vulnerability and your willingness to share that. And there is just this need for us to come together and share our stories. So I agree with you. I'm aligned with you. And yes, in 2020, 10,000% with all of the differences that we may have, as we're looking forward, we definitely need to just share our stories and come together.
And I think the great thing about sharing our stories too is, I remember my first editor of this book said to me, don't make a messy story clean. Like, tell the story, you know, like the more real the story, the more human the story is, the more you tell people, oh my God, you know, in my book, in one chapter, I'm like, look over, I'm waking up and I see a glass of red wine tipped over. And I say to myself, since when did I go to bed with a glass of wine? Oh my God, what have I turned? And I don't remember it. Like, what have I turned into? Right. So sharing honest stories that show that we're all vulnerable, we all make mistakes, we all hit highs, we all hit lows. That's where the powerful sharing of stories comes in, because they're real.
Absolutely. I'm totally aligned with you. And when I was going through the editing and publishing journey of Finding Life in Between, I thought, oh my gosh, I can't share this. There's a point where I'm like, this is too personal. It's too vulnerable. I'm done. Like, this is not anybody's business. I'm not doing it. And, you know, Carrie talked me off the ledge of a few times. And then I had a really good friend who said to me, if you can't effing tell the truth about all of this, then what good are you? He's like, people are hungry for truth. That's where they find themselves. So just be real and tell the truth. And I thought, you know what? I'm doing it. I'm letting go of it, and it's out there and it's done. So I agree with you that powerful, there's power in that vulnerability. And sometimes I go to bed with a glass of wine on my nightstand too. I just want to tell you.
Well, I'll tell you, you'll read the book and you'll be surprised there wasn't more of that. And I'm guessing I might have to drink some wine while working through your book as well, because I know it's about, you know, a lot of deep introspection, and I'm looking forward to that, to delving into that as well.
Well, thank you. Thank you. So, so everybody who's on here, please make sure that you read The Situation, A Radical Journey Through Sisterhood. And you can pick up my book, Finding Life in Between. And actually, our publisher that we work with, Carrie Severson at the Unapologetic Voice House, is a publisher for strong female voices. And so for anybody who wants to check out Carrie's whole collection, it's at theunapologeticvoicehouse.com.
Yes.
So, all right, we're good. Anything
Thank you for your support, people.
All right. Thanks, Lila. Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.